students, welcome to IMS Gate Academy. I hope you are doing great. Students, am I audible? Can you please comment in the comment box? Students, am I audible? Can you please comment in the comment box? Good morning, Swetanshu. I'm just waiting for all the students to join. Am I audible, sir? Can you please comment in the chat box? Swetanshu, am I audible? Yes, sir. Very good, very good. So, students, once again, welcome to IMS Gate Academy. I hope you are doing great with your gate preparation. Students, every time we have to test ourselves or we have to revise ourselves. So, in these 6 months, you might have concentrated on the most important subjects like geotechnical engineering. Karishma, good morning, Amma. In these 6 months, you might be concentrating on the most important subjects for civil engineering like geotechnical, transportation and environmental. These are highly weighted subjects. Now, it is the time to revise yourself. If you are aware with the concepts, then how to solve the most conceptual problems. So, it is the time. In this session, my dear students, I would like to cover the most conceptual problems on the topic geometric design. In the next session, I will give you the importance about the traffic design. So, see students, whatever we have done in this session, if you want the notes of this session, we will be sharing this session in the Telegram group. So, my dear students, if you want to get access to the classroom notes or any important updates in the Telegram group, then definitely you have to join this group. And remember, mark my words students, we have an excellent team for civil engineering and try to join this GATE score booster. In this series, we are going to cover the most conceptual problems for all the civil engineering subjects. So, when I talk about the Telegram group, if you want to look for the important updates, what's happening in this YouTube channel, definitely you can join in this group and access the notes also what we have done in this. Now, coming to the what IMS actually offers. I am proudly say that IMS offers the offline gate coaching at Bangalore and also at Vijayawada. And remember, my dear students, we are offering the hybrid model also, online plus offline, and we are offering exclusively offline gate coaching at Bangalore Jayanagar Center. And remember, my dear students, we are providing 750 plus hours of gate coaching for all the civil engineering subjects. And remember, my dear students, when you talk about the practice or if you want to test yourself, definitely you should have a strong material. In this material, we have chapter text, exercise booklet, where it covers level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. Apart from this, my dear students, in IMS, we have captured the student success by 2 mantras. One is the most important, one is the My Plan session, which we will connect with the students one-to-one. Apart from this, if you want to have any doubts when you are solving these chapter tests, there is a portal called Doubt Solving Portal where you can post your doubts and that doubts will be explained within 24 hours of time. And remember, my dear students, we are coming with an excellent book called Gate Question Booklet, which covers 30 years of gate question. Along with that, we are going to cover the key pointers. And remember, my dear students, how do you test yourself? You have to have a solid test series. For this, we have come up with the All India mock test which covers the same environment as the GATE environment, where you have to use the virtual calculator and the setup time and 3 hours duration. And remember, it will have 12 test series. Along with this, we have chapter test, multiple subject test and advanced test. So remember, my dear students, if you are interested for offline or online gate coaching, especially in Bangalore, we are offering the offline and also at Vijayawada. So it is the time. We have a very good academic counselors at our Jayanagar team and also at Vijayawada, where you can contact them and have the detailed procedure what are the features IMS offers in the GATE Academy. Okay. Now let us quickly start the today's session, and remember my dear students, in this today's session I am going to cover geometric design. My dear students, I am going to cover the geometric design on transportation. Remember students, we are in a world or we are in a country where infrastructure plays a very important role. If you want to transport the goods or if you want to have a faster mode of travel, definitely transportation plays a very important role. And remember my dear students, it will even impact very sincerely the GDP of our country. So transportation has basically three parts. One is the geometric design part and the traffic engineering, and the third part which covers the payment design. Apart from this, we have the airport engineering and railway engineering also. So my dear students, in this session I would like to concentrate on the geometric design, which we can expect at least 3 marks from the GATE paper. So it is a very important topic. So let me start this. Very good morning, Sai Srujana. Very good morning. Now see students, first I will discuss about a topic called stopping side distance. What sir? First we will be discussing about a topic called stopping side distance. So when I talk about stopping side distance, see students, when a driver sees an object which is coming in the opposite direction, he immediately wants to stop the vehicle. So how safely he can stop the vehicle, and during this, while stopping the vehicle, how much he has traveled, that is called the stopping side distance. So see students, in stopping side distance is a summation of lag distance plus stopping side is a distance plus summation of lag distance plus braking distance. Very good. So what is stopping side distance? It is defined as the summation of lag distance plus braking distance. Now, here see students, when I talk about SSD here, SSD is given by the formula Vt plus V square upon 2GF into efficiency plus or minus M. So here see students, what is lag distance? The distance travelled during the reaction time. This we call it as lag distance. This we call it as lag distance. And here we call this as braking distance. Here we call it as braking distance. One we say it as lag distance and other one we say it as braking distance. So let me tell you here, velocity is always, if I show the velocity in small letter, then it indicates velocity is in meter per second. Velocity in meter per second. And remember my dear students, what is T here? T is nothing but the reaction time. What is T? T is nothing but the reaction time. And remember my dear students, if they have not mentioned the reaction time in the problem, or according to IRC, the reaction time standard value is 2.5 seconds in case of stopping side distance. What is this value? It is equal to 2.5 seconds in case of stopping side distance according to the IRC. Now what is here? F is known as longitudinal friction. F is known as the longitudinal friction. Okay. Efficiency, we call efficiency, or you can write actual coefficient of friction upon maximum coefficient of friction into 100, where it is expressed usually in percentage. What is theta? It is nothing but the efficiency. Okay. Now see students, here we have n. N is nothing but the gradient. And remember, see students, if it is a gradient of ascending, we take it as positive gradient. And if it is a descending gradient, then we considered negative value. Now see students, here we have SSD is equal to Vt plus V square upon 2gf plus or minus m. So here what is Vt is, it is the distance travelled by the vehicle during the reaction time. So distance is nothing but velocity into time. How do you got V square by 2gf plus or minus 1 is kinetic. Sir, see, work done to stop the vehicle is equal to the kinetic energy lost. Based on these two equations, work done to stop the vehicle is equal to kinetic energy lost. Based on this equation, we have derived the braking distance. So my dear students, the key takeaways from the stopping side distance is lag distance. If they can ask you only lag distance is defined as velocity into time. Here remember, see students, T is known as the reaction time, which is equal to 2.5 seconds. Now, if they can ask you only braking distance, how do you derive the braking distance is the work done to stop the vehicle is equal to the kinetic energy lost. Based on this basic equation, we have derived whatever this part is only called as braking distance. So braking distance is given by the formula V square by 2g F plus or minus n. Where remember students, you should be very careful. Here the coefficient of friction is not lateral, it is the longitudinal coefficient of friction. And the longitudinal coefficient of friction can be written as, acceleration can be written as F into g. There is another important relation, acceleration can be written as F into g. Based on this, you can also calculate the coefficient of friction. And you have the efficiency, which is defined as the ratio of actual by maximum coefficient of friction into 100. And remember, see students, positive gradient is applicable in case of ascending and negative gradient is applicable in case of descending. Okay. And remember, see students, always the velocity will be taken as in meter per second. I hope the basic introduction of SSD is clear for everyone. Now let us go through the problem. Now see students, how you can solve this problem. This was a very important question and it was asked in the GATE 2023 also students. Which of the following is equal to the stopping side distance? The first one is the braking distance required to come to stop the vehicle, distance travelled by the plus distance travelled by the reaction time. Second one is the brake distance minus distance travelled due to the perception or reaction time. Braking distance to stop the vehicle, distance travelled during the perception time. So by looking into the options, very good Swetanshu. Any other answers? By looking into the options, what is the correct answer students? Which of the following is equal to the stopping side distance? Which is the correct answer? Can anyone tell me? So here the first option, as we know, SSD is equal to Vt plus V square by 2gf, that is braking distance plus lag distance. So the option A is absolutely correct answer. Now see students, option B is obviously wrong, but this will be equal to braking distance. This is not SSD, but he has asked in the problem SSD. Option C is braking distance. And distance traveled during the reaction time, this is called lag distance. This is called the lag distance. So remember, the correct answer for this question is option A. Very good answer, very good answer. Sai Srujana, very good answer. Now, see students, when I talk about this question, the question here is the stopping side distance for a level highway is 140 meter for the design speed of 90 kilometer per hour. The acceleration due to gravity and deceleration rates are 9.81 and 3.51 meter per second. The perception reaction time round off to the 2 decimals used in the SSD calculation is. So see students, I'll give you a timer. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Okay, just go through this question. See students, again I am repeating the question. The stopping side distance for a level highway is 140 meter. Okay, and the design speed is 90 kilometer per hour. The acceleration and deceleration due to the gravity are 9.81 and 3.5 meter per second square. The perception reaction time used in the calculation is. Please solve this problem, students. Okay, students, I have given you enough time. Now let me do this problem, student. Okay, here we know already. SSD is equal to Vt plus V square upon 2GF. Why I have written this is, sir, you can ask me the formula is Vt plus V square by 2GF into efficiency plus or minus n. Here efficiency is not provided and also gradient is not provided. So I take Vt plus V square by 2GF. Now see students, in the stopping side distance, in the problem they have given SSD is equal to how much? SSD is equal to 140 meter. What is the value of SSD given? SSD is given as 140 meter. And if you see the velocity is given as 90 kilometer per hour. So when they give you velocity as 90 kilometer per hour, I told you clearly students, velocity should be calculated in meter per second. So velocity should be calculated in meter per second means 90 into 5 by 18. If I calculate, this will be equal to 25 meter per second. So the velocity will be equal to how much? The velocity value will be equal to 25 meter per second. So here 140 is equal to 25 meter per second into, we have to calculate the reaction time, T, plus V square is 25 square upon 2 into acceleration due to gravity standard value is 9.81. But how do you calculate the coefficient of friction? So see students, acceleration is given by the formula. Acceleration is equal to friction into gravity. So friction, coefficient of longitudinal friction can be taken as acceleration divided by gravity. And they have given the value of acceleration is, A is given in the problem as 3.5. So if you divide 3.5 upon G is 9.81. So we have one unknown and we have one equation. On solving this equation, you will get T is equal to 2.03 seconds approximately. So here see students, what is the reaction time? The reaction time is nothing but 2.03 seconds. Now see students, what are the key takeaways from this problem? See students, when velocity is given in kilometer per hour, you have to convert the velocity of kilometer per hour into meter per second. Okay, once you have converted kilometer per hour into meter per second, we know SSD is equal to lag distance plus braking distance. So lag distance is nothing but velocity into time. Braking distance is V square upon 2G F only. There is no efficiency, there is no gradient. So this is braking distance and this is lag distance. And the third important point is you should know acceleration or deceleration rate is equal to coefficient of longitudinal friction into acceleration due to gravity. By knowing these three formulas, you can get the value of the reaction time as 2.03 seconds. I hope this solution is clear for you. So let us go into the next problem. Now see student, the question here is simple amma. What is the question is the design speed of a two-lane, this is very important. The design speed of a two-lane, two-way road is 60 km per hour and the longitudinal coefficient of friction is 0.36. The reaction time is 2.5. The intermediate site required for the road is, So I'll give you like 1 minute of time. Please solve this problem, students. Okay, students, let us see. They are asking the intermediate site distance. Now, first of all, see students, very good Kushbu Patel, very good Amma, very good answer. Now, see sir, what I would like to tell you here is intermediate site distance is defined as the twice the stopping site distance. Intermediate site distance is defined as what, sir? Twice the stopping site distance. Okay. And remember, sir, when do you come across the word intermediate site distance? Very good, Swetanshu. When do you come across the word intermediate? Means whenever you are unable to provide the OSD distance, when there are some limitations in providing the overtaking site distance, then we come across the term called intermediate site distance. Now see students, stopping site distance first we have to calculate. It is given as Vt plus V square upon 2GF. Vt plus V square upon 2GF is the formula, okay. Now here they have given velocity as 60 km per hour. So I'll convert into meter per second by multiplying with 5 by 18. And they have given the reaction time as 2.5 and the coefficient of friction is, here the reaction time is 2.5 seconds plus V square is how much, students? V square is 60 into 5 by 18, 5 by 18 whole square upon 2g is how much, sir? 2 into 9.81. And remember, what is the value of coefficient of friction given there? The coefficient of friction is also given directly in the problem. So this will be multiplied by 0.36. On solving this, you will get a value of roughly around 81.05 meter. So what will be the stopping side distance? It will be 81.05 meter. But in the problem, what they have asked you? They have asked you the intermediate side distance. So whenever they ask you the intermediate side distance, students, the formula for intermediate side distance, which I have told you, is twice the SSD. And that will be equal to 20 into 81.05 meter, which is equal to 162.1 meter. So this is the final answer, students. Very good, Kushbu Patel and Swetanshu. And remember, students, let me conclude these very important points which you have learned here. Intermediate side distance is defined as the twice the stopping side distance, and intermediate side distance comes into the picture only when we are unable to provide the OSD or there are some limitations in providing the overtaking side distance. Now, see, students, we have another beautiful question here. A vehicle is moving on a road of gradient 4% at a speed of 20 meter per second. Consider the coefficient of rolling friction is 0.46 and acceleration due to gravity is 10 meter per second. On applying brakes to reach a speed of 10 meter per second, the required braking distance along the horizontal is. So, I will give you 1 minute of time. I want everyone to solve this problem. Okay, see, students, let me tell you here. Here, what they have given is, in the problem, they are asking, what is the braking distance? In the problem, they are asking, what is the braking distance? Okay. They are not asking any other thing. So, see, students, what do you mean by braking distance is? Braking distance is defined as kinetic energy lost. Braking distance is equal to kinetic energy lost is equal to work done to stop the vehicle. What, sir? Kinetic energy lost is equal to work done to stop the vehicle. Am I correct or wrong? Okay. Did I correct or wrong, sir? Kinetic, Kushbu, very good, Amma, very good, very good. So, here kinetic energy lost is equal to work done to stop the vehicle. So, here kinetic energy can be taken as half m into, if there is, sir, after applying the brakes, it is not reaching 0. It is reaching a velocity of some 10 meter per second. So, can I write half mv square into v2 square? This is the kinetic energy lost is equal to, you can write here friction, okay, friction into weight into the braking distance. Okay. Actually, I am telling the concept, see students. Okay. So here weight can be written as mass into gravity into braking distance. So here braking distance means mass cancel. It will be given as braking distance BD can be written as half into 2G F. Here actually see students, I would like to tell you one thing. Gradient is also there. So they have given gradient as plus n into V1 square minus V2 square. Okay. Sir, gradient can be a positive or can be negative. But in the problem they have given positive gradient. So finally what I would like to tell you here is, the formula here is braking distance. Sir, actually in all the other problems, when you apply the braking distance, it will come to a velocity 0. That is the reason you will not see the formula V1 square minus V2 square. But here it will become V1 square minus V2 square upon 2G F plus N. Now see students, let me tell you here, the initial velocity is how much, sir? Initial velocity is 20 square meter per second minus 10 square into 2 into 10 into friction is given as 0.46 and the gradient is given as 4 percentile. This is very important, students. Gradient is given as 4 percentile. So what will the value of gradient means? It will be equal to 4 by 100. That will be equal to the value of 0.04. So when I substitute this value 0.04 here, this will be equal to how much, students? 20 square is 400 minus 10 square is 100. So it will be 300 by 20 into 0.5. So 20 into 0.5 is 10 and 300 divided by 10 is, this will be equal to 30 meter. So see students, what is the key takeaway from this problem is, always you are habituated for finding the braking distance as V square upon 2GF into efficiency plus or minus n. But there we assume that the vehicle has dead stop. But here the vehicle after applying the brakes, it has reached a velocity of sub V1. So that is the reason I have taken V1 square minus V2 square upon 2GF plus n. So this is a formula when after applying the vehicle, if the velocity has not reached to 0, if the velocity even after applying the brakes, it has small velocity, definitely after applying the brakes, velocity will reduce. But how much velocity it has reduced, you can use this formula and calculate the braking distance. So is this clear, sir? Good morning, Darshini. Now see students. Sir, see. Here what I could answer you here is, a car follows a slow moving truck at a speed of 10 meter per second on a 2-lane highway. The car reduces to a speed of 10 meter per second and follows the truck maintaining a distance of 16 meter from the truck. Good morning, Ayush Sagar. Good morning. On finding a clear gap in the opposing traffic stream, the car accelerates at an acceleration of 4 meter per second square. When it returns to the original lane, the distance between the car and the truck is 16 meter. Calculate the total distance traveled by the car during this and it leaves subsequently to the other lane. Now see student, good morning Ayush Sagar. See, before going to this concept, let me tell you, we have a concept called overtaking side distance. we have a concept called what, sir? Overtaking side distance. See students, in this concept, I just want to tell you the basic concepts like formulas only. I am not going in detail because my intention here is to give importance to the problem solving. Now when I talk about OSD, suppose when I talk about OSD, there will be a vehicle, it has to cross a slow moving vehicle, okay. There can be other vehicles which can be coming in this direction, okay students. So actually if I talk about OSD, OSD can be considered in 2-lane road, or it can be taken as in a single lane road also. So how do you calculate this, okay? So for this, see students, here OSD can be written as D1 plus D2 plus D3. What, sir? OSD can be written as D1 plus D2 plus D3. Can anyone tell me what is this formula? This formula is for two-way road. This formula is for what, sir? Two-way road. And remember, my dear students, okay, if you talk about OSD, in case of a single lane road, it will be equal to D1 plus D2. It will be equal to D1 plus D2. Now let me tell you what is D1. D1 is the distance travelled by the slow moving. You can say D1 is equal to VB into T. Okay. What is VB? I will tell you. Okay. Now D2. Sir, this is very important. This D2 we call it as length of overtaking zone. What do you mean by D2, students? D2 is nothing but the distance. You can write distance of overtaking zone or length of overtaking zone. So in the problem, in some problems, they will ask you directly the overtaking zone. They will not ask you OSD. They will ask you what is D2. D3 is not coming in case of one way. Yes, very good. D3 will not come in one way because, see, if you talk in two-way, you have one vehicle which is moving in this direction and we have another vehicle which is coming in the other direction. So there will not be this vehicle coming in the other direction as it is a one-way direction. So that is the reason it is single lane, or you can say OSD or single lane or OSD in one way you can write. Okay, Sagar, is it clear? Is this clear, Sagar? In case of one way, we can write it as D1 plus D2. Now see students, what is D2 here is, D2 can be written as VB into capital T plus 2S. Okay. Now what do you mean by T here? What do you mean by T here is, see, T is nothing but the reaction time. And remember, in SSD, you have studied the reaction time as how much, sir? 2.5 seconds. But in OSD, it will be studied as 2 seconds. Very good reply, Ayush. Okay, so reaction time will be taken as 2 seconds in case of OSD. And remember, what is VB? VB is the velocity of slow moving vehicle. What is VB? VB is nothing but the velocity of slow moving vehicle. And remember, my dear students, if they, very good Swetanshu, very good. If they give you velocity of slow moving vehicle, if they give the actual velocity V, and how to calculate velocity of slow moving vehicle is, velocity of slow moving vehicle is equal to V minus 4.5 meter per second. Are you getting, my dear students? If they give the velocity of the actual vehicle, if the velocity of the slow vehicle has to be calculated, it will be taken as V minus 4.5. Now see students, Here I will take t value as root over 2 into S1 plus S2, or you can have seen the problem as 4S by A if the spacings are same. So what is S here? See students, S is nothing but the spacing between the vehicles. S is nothing but what, sir? Spacing between the vehicles. Now, how do you calculate S? Let me tell you. The spacing between the vehicles is given as 0.7 VB plus L, where L is the length of wheelbase, which is equal to, where L is the length of the wheelbase, which is equal to 6.1 meter. This is standard value according to the IRC. So spacing between the vehicles is given as 0.7 into VB plus L. And remember, see students, here when I talk about D3 is given by the formula V into T. So when you talk about OSD, let me tell you the final formula, which is equal to VB into T plus VB into capital T, okay, VB into capital T plus 2S plus V into capital T. Okay, this is the formula for OSD, and T will be taken as 2 seconds, and VB, velocity of the slow moving vehicle, is VB is equal to V minus 4.5 meter per second. Okay, and remember, see students, here spacing is equal to 0.7 VB plus L, where L is the length of the wheelbase. Okay, and remember, here capital T can be written as 4S upon A. And remember another equation, see students, here whatever this part you are reading, this part is only called as length of overtaking zone. Okay, this is called length of overtaking zone. Now see students, if they ask you what is the minimum length of overtaking zone is, it is 3 times OSD. Again I am telling you, see students, minimum length of overtaking zone is 3 times the overtaking side distance, and desirable length will be 5 times OSD. So what is the intention of OSD is, when a fast moving vehicle has to overtake a slow moving vehicle safely, then there should be have overtaking side distance. So overtaking side distance is a summation of D1 plus D2 plus D3 for two-way traffic. D2 term is only known as the length of overtaking zone. Here VB is the velocity of the slow moving vehicle. Reaction time for OSD is 2 seconds. And we have the capital T overtaking zone time, which will be taken as 4S by A, and we have spacing is 0.7 VB plus L. Here see students, the length of the wheelbase is taken as 6.1 meter. With this concept, any problem in OSD can be solved. So let us go to the problem which we have discussed. So what is this problem here is, we have read the question, a car follows a truck on a 2-lane road. The car reduces to 10 meter speed, and the follows a trucks maintain a 16 meter on a clear gap, and it has an average rate of 4 meter per second square, and the distance between the car and truck is 16. The distance covered by the car during the period from the time it leaves the lane and subsequently leaves to the overtaking. What is this answer? So see students, it's a beautiful question. I'll explain you the concept also, but I'll give you 1 minute of time. Just read the question and give a try. Okay? students, okay, have you gone through the question? Now let me go through this question. Now see students, if you consider this as a overtaking, means if you consider this as a two lane, we have one vehicle which is moving and we have a slow moving vehicle here, and we have a slow moving vehicle here. We have a slow moving vehicle. Now this vehicle in this overtaking zone, this vehicle also come here, but this vehicle will come here. Okay, so he's asking what is this distance? What is this distance? Okay, so he's asking in the problem the length of D2, that is length of the, in the problem they are asking clearly the length of overtaking zone. They are not asking the OSD, that is overtaking side distance. So why they, let me tell you clearly also here. Let me tell you, see students, it is not OSD. Why? Because see, the total distance covered by the car during the period from the time it leaves and subsequently returns to the lane after. So here it is leaving and it is entering into this lane. So what is the length traveled during this? So here what is the answer, sir? Very good, Swetanshu. Very good Swetanshu. So he is asking the length of the overtaking zone. So when I talk about the length of the overtaking zone, it is given by the formula VB into T plus 2S. Okay, remember, see students, here when I talk about the velocity of the slow moving vehicle, in the velocity of the slow moving vehicle is already given in the problem that it is 10 meter per second. Okay, into T plus, see in the problem they have given you the spacing value. If you see the spacing value, they have given in the problem as 16 meter. So 10 into T plus 2 into 16 meter. So how do you calculate this capital T? See students, here capital T is equal to root 4s upon A. Capital T is written as what, sir? Root 4s upon A. So here you can write it as spacing as 16. So you can write it as 4 into 16 divided by acceleration. What is the acceleration they have given you? 4 meter per second square. So if I take this value 4, time is equal to 4 seconds. So if I plug in this value 10 into T, in the place of T, if I plug in the value of 4, 10 into 4 plus 2 into 16, that will be equal to 72 seconds. So that will be equal to how much, sir? 72 seconds. So here the option B is the right answer. I hope this solution is clear. So remember, what is the key takeaway from this problem is, every time you should not associate that the problem they've asked is OSD. Whether it is the length of the overtaking zone or whether it is OSD, you have to read the question carefully. Once you are aware of the OSD or length of the overtaking zone, then definitely you can apply the formulas of OSD and you can solve the problem. Okay. Now this is another beautiful question, see students. It was also asked in GATE 2023. I have done some research in this and I will give you the easiest solution for this. If G1 and G2 are the slopes of the approach and departure grades of a vertical curve, given G1 is less than G2 and G1 is not equal to 0, statement 1, G1 followed by G2 results in a sag curve, minus G1 followed by minus G2 results in a sag vertical curve, G1 followed by minus G2 results in a crest curve. Which among the following statements is true? So I'll just give you, okay, we'll start the timer. See students, I have given you enough time. Now what is here is the simple logic is, if the algebraic difference between two grades is positive. What sir? If the algebraic difference between two grades, or algebraic difference between two grades is positive, then what does it indicates? What does it indicates? If the algebraic difference between, please remember this very important question, see student. If the algebraic difference between two grades is positive, it indicates a summit curve. Okay? Okay? If the algebraic difference between two grades is positive, then it is a summit curve. And if the algebraic difference between two grades is negative, if the algebraic difference between two grades is negative, then it indicates sag curve. That indicates a sag curve. So we have two important statements here. If the difference between if the difference between two grades is positive, it indicates a summit curve. If the algebraic difference between two grades is negative, then it indicates a sag curve. So let me tell you which one is the right answer here. Now the first statement is what sir? G1 is followed by G2 results in sag vertical curve. Now see students, here he has told G1, mod G1 is less than mod G2, and he has told G1 is followed by G2, means G1 minus G2. G1 is followed by G2 means G1 minus G2. Okay, represents what he has given. They have given it is a sag vertical curve. It is a sag vertical curve. This statement is correct or wrong? I will tell you. From this, see students, see this statement G1 is less than G2. This indicates, okay, G2 is greater than G1. G1 less than G2 or G2 is greater than. So G1 minus G2. G1 will be lesser minus higher value. So this will be negative only. So this G1 minus G2 is nothing but negative. So G1 minus G2 negative means it indicates it is a sag curve. Okay. So they are given sag vertical curve. So the option A is correct. Am I correct? Very good, Swetanshu. Now in the option B, minus G1 is followed by minus G2 represents a sag vertical curve. Minus G1 is followed by minus G2. This also represents, is telling, sag vertical curve. This represents sag vertical curve. This is what given in the question, see students. Okay. So minus G1, minus of minus G2 will be written as what, students? It can be written as G2 minus G1. But remember, see students, here you have told G2 is greater than G1, right? So if G2 is greater than G1, G2 minus G1 will be positive. Positive means it should be a summit curve. So option B is wrong. Agree? Very good, Swetanshu. Very good. Now option C is what, sir? G1 is followed by G2. G1 is followed by minus G2. G1 minus of minus G2, which will be equal to G1 plus G2, which is a positive value. Which indicates it is a summit curve or a crest. Crest means summit curve or a crest curve means this one. Sag means this one. Okay. So here this one crest means it is also correct. So what he has asked in the problem, which of the following among the following is true? So statement 1 and 3 are correct and statement 2 is wrong. So the answer here is option A, which is absolutely correct. So remember, see students, the key takeaway from this problem is the algebraic difference between two grades is positive, then it represents a summit curve or a crest curve. If the algebraic difference between two grades is negative, it represents a sag curve. I hope this solution is clear for you. Okay. Now see students, we have another beautiful question here. A road in a hilly terrain is said to be laid at a gradient of 4.5. A horizontal curve of radius 100 meter, okay, is laid at a location on this road. Gradients need to be used due to the combination of curved horizontal and vertical profiles of the road. As per IRC, what is the compensated gradient? Now see students, before solving this problem, let me tell you how do we calculate grade compensation. Grade compensation will be always taken that. What is the formula for grade compensation? Grade compensation is nothing but the minimum of grade compensation will be taken as minimum of 75 by R. Grade compensation will be taken as minimum of 75 by R or 30 plus R by R. Whichever is the lesser value will be taken as grade compensation. Here what is R, sir? Here R is nothing but the radius. What is R here, Swetanshu or Patel? R is nothing but the radius. Am I correct? Ayush Sagar, Swetanshu or Kushbu Patel. Here R is nothing but the radius. Okay. Now here you have talked about the minimum of 75 by R or 30 plus R by R, whichever is minimum. If they ask you compensated gradient, the compensated gradient cannot be less than 4 percentile. Compensated gradient cannot be less than what, sir? 4 percentile. Okay. And remember, see students, if they ask you compensated gradient, how to find out compensated gradient is, how to find out the compensated gradient is gradient minus, how to find out the compensated gradient? Gradient, am I audible, sir? Compensated gradient can be written as gradient minus grade compensation. Okay, with using these formulas, you can solve the problem of compensated gradient. Using these formulas, you can solve the problems of compensated gradient. So what is compensated gradient? It is defined as the difference between gradient and the grade compensation. Here in this problem, when you talk about the grade compensation is given as radius. In this problem, they have, how much is the value, sir? The value for grade compensation, how do you calculate? They have given radius as 100 meter. What is the radius? Radius is calculated as 100 meter. So when I talk about the grade compensation formula is 30 plus R by R or 75 by R, whichever is minimum. So if I take 30 plus R by R, this will be 30 plus 100 divided by 100. This will be equal to 1.3. Okay, this will be equal to 1.3. And if I talk about 75 by R, this will be equal to 75 by 100, this will be equal to 0.75. This will be equal to 0.75. Now 1.3 and 0.75, which is the minimum value? The minimum value is nothing but 0.75. Now see students, compensated gradient is equal to compensated gradient is equal to 4.5 percentile minus 0.75. It will be equal to 3.75. But you cannot take 3.75 because compensated gradient cannot be less than 4 percentile. So if they ask you what is the compensated gradient in the problem is, if they ask you what is the compensated gradient means, it cannot be less than 4 percentile. So it will be equal to, compensated gradient will be equal to 4 percentile. So the answer here is 4 percentile. Let me tell you another important. Even though by solving the problem you got 0.75 as grade compensation, but for this problem, how they will calculate grade compensation is, grade compensation will be calculated as, for these cases only, where it is less than 4 percentile, then you have to follow this methodology. Grade compensation will be taken as 4.5 percentile minus 4 percentile. Grade compensation will be equal to 0.5 percentile. Sir, in the problem they have asked you only compensated gradient, but I am just giving you an idea how to calculate grade compensation. So the answer here is 4 percentile. First you will calculate the grade compensation. So compensated gradient is equal to gradient minus grade compensation. But here the value is less than 4. So you will take compensated gradient as 4 percentile. But if they ask you what is grade compensation means, actual gradient is minus the compensated gradient will give you the grade compensation. You cannot take these two values. I hope this solution is clear for you. Any doubts, Swetanshu, Ayush Sagar, Srujana, any doubts in this? Now see students, we have another beautiful question here. A 7.5 meter wide 2-lane road on a plain terrain is laid on a horizontal slope of radius 5 ton. The design speed is 100, super elevation is provided. Consider acceleration due to gravity. The level difference between the inner and outer edge of the pavements is. Okay, I'll just give you a minute. Please solve this, students. See students, before solving this problem, let me tell you what do you mean by super elevation concept. Okay. What do you mean by super elevation? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by super elevation in the chat box? Sir, super elevation is nothing but the rise of outer edge. It is defined as the rise of outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner. Very good, Swetanshu. What is super elevation? If I consider this as a horizontal curve, the rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner edge is nothing but the super elevation. Super elevation can also be defined as a cant or a banking. It is the rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner edge. So see students, if I consider this as theta, if I consider this as the width of the road B, and this is the rise of outer edge of the pavement, here super elevation E or tan theta can be written as H upon B, where H indicates the rise above the outer edge and B indicates the width of the road. Okay. So see students, as part of this, if you talk about the centrifugal force, see students, centrifugal force always acts outwards, right? You know centrifugal force can be written as mv square by r. Okay. You know weight is equal to mass into gravity. If I write here, centrifugal force P is equal to W by G into V square by R. And remember, see students, P by W is equal to V square by GR. Okay. What we called P by W as, this P by W is known as centrifugal ratio. What do you mean by P by W? See students, this is known as the centrifugal. P by W is nothing but the centrifugal ratio. Okay. Now see students, here if I considered here a vehicle, okay, and if I considered here we have the centrifugal force which acts outwards, and here we have the weight which is acting downwards. So this is equal to the width of the road, which is B, and here this we can take it as H, height above the center edge. This will be equal to B by 2 and this will be weight. So if you take the moments here, see students, P into H can be written as W into B by 2. Okay, so here P by W can be written as B by 2H. You can ask me, sir, why you are telling this? Actually, based on this, whether the vehicle is skidding or overturning, we will discuss. So my dear students, we have an equilibrium equation. P by W is equal to B by 2H is equal to V square by GR. This we call it as, P by W is called what, students? This is known as centrifugal ratio or equilibrium equation. Now see students, if the friction here, whatever the friction here, what you are discussing is nothing but the lateral friction. Here whatever we are discussing is what, sir? Lateral friction. Now if the lateral friction is greater than P by W, if the lateral friction is greater than P by W, remember students, there will be no skidding. There will be no skidding. Okay. And remember, see students, if B by 2H is greater than P by W, okay, then no overturning. Okay. So remember students, whatever the friction and B by 2H values should be always more than the centrifugal ratio, so that there will be no skidding or no overturning. Now let me tell you, if suppose coefficient of friction and B by 2H are less than P by W, if F by F coefficient of friction and B by 2H are less than P by W, in this case, if F is less than B by 2H, first skidding will occur, and then overturn. And see students, if B by 2H is less than F, you remember that first overturning happens, and then skidding. So these are very important to understand whether overturning will happen first or skidding will happen next. Clear students? Whether overturning will happen first or skidding will happen first, you should have an idea on the centrifugal ratio. Okay, here P by W is nothing but the centrifugal ratio. B by 2H discuss about the overturning and F discuss about the friction. Clear students? Now see students, when you talk about super elevation, when I talk about super elevation, the general equation for super elevation is nothing but what, sir? E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. Okay. And remember, see students, in case of a mixed traffic, you remember that E plus F will be equal to 0.7 V whole square upon GR. So this will be the value in case of mixed traffic. So this is the value in case of super elevation and this is the value in case of mixed traffic. Now let me tell you the design steps. These are very, very important, students. Here first you will calculate E plus F is equal to, step 1, E plus F is equal to V square by GR. Okay, see students, you have the maximum value of super elevation in case of planes. In case of planes, it is 7 percentile. Okay, see students, in case of hills without snow, it is 10 percentile. Okay, if you talk about the hills with the snow, also it is 7 percentile. But this is also 7 percentile. Okay, hills without snow, you take it as 10 percentile. So you have to have an idea of this. What is this 7 percentile, 7 percentile and 10 percentile? These are the maximum values, see students. These are the maximum values of super elevation. See students, you have told here E plus F is equal to what, sir? E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. E plus F is equal to what, sir? V square upon GR. Okay, here what I would like to tell you is, if E is less than or equal to E max, then step 1 is, in the step 1 only you will get the answer. You will, whatever the value you got in the step 1, you can adopt. Swetanshu, sir, why value of hill without snow is more? See, actually what happens, no, Swetanshu, what is super elevation is? Super elevation is a cant, okay? See, whenever there is a slope, means super elevation means these are all the values according to the IRC code. Suppose without snow means if the slope is also steep, we can climb it. But if you have snow, then the super elevation should be less. That is the reason. Okay. Without snow, you can have the higher value, and with snow, we can have the lesser value of super elevation. These are the values which are given by the IRC code. Did I answer your question, Swetanshu? Okay, here what I would like to tell is, if E is less than E max, then it is fine. Clear, Swetanshu? If suppose second step, if E is greater than E max, if E is greater than E max, take the value of E max as 0.07 based on if it is a plane. Take the value of plane. Okay? Clear, sir? Now here what I would like to tell you here is, now the second step is you can take 0.07 plus F is equal to V square upon GR. Now again the same step. Sir, see, the maximum value of the coefficient of friction is, the maximum value of the coefficient of friction is 0.15. This is what, sir? In the stopping side distance, we have come across longitudinal friction. In the stopping side distance, in case of super elevation, you will come across the concept lateral. This is lateral friction, see students. Okay. So here, if F is, whatever the value you have calculated, if F is less than or equal to F max, then it is correct. Step 3 is, if F is greater than F max, okay, we have to take E max value plus F max, and we have to calculate the velocity. Okay, we have to calculate now the velocity. This velocity should be less than the actual velocity. Then it is correct. If the velocity is more than the actual velocity, in that case, you have to adjust the radius. Am I clear, sir? If that is the case, if velocity is less than the actual velocity, then it is fine. If the velocity is more than the actual velocity, then you have to adjust the radius to make the design okay. So these are the simple steps to solve the problems of super elevation. Now, let us read this question, students. Just read this question and solve the problem. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Okay, see students, here the question here is, a 7.5 meter 2-lane road on a plain terrain is to be laid on a horizontal curve of radius 510 meter for a design speed of 100 km. Design speed is 100 km. Consider acceleration due to gravity, the level difference between the, now whenever these things are asked, see students, you know here, the super elevation is designed for mixed traffic is given by E is equal to V square upon 225 R, where V is in velocity in kilometer per hour and R is the radius. What, sir? R is the radius. So here what is the velocity they have given you? Velocity is given as how much, sir? 100 kilometer per hour and radius is 5 ton. So super elevation 100 square upon 225 into 5 ton. How much is the value of super elevation, sir? What is the value of super elevation here, students? Here, if you consider the design super elevation, we take it for mixed traffic, or in equilibrium super elevation, or in mixed traffic, the coefficient of friction will be 0. And here we take E is E, and we take the velocity as 75%, and we calculate that as E is equal to V square upon 225R. On solving this, you will get a value of 0.087. Okay, and remember, see students, in case of planes, in case of plane terrain, E cannot be more than 0.07. So here is more than 0.07. So we take E value as 0.07. So what is the E? E is nothing but super elevation, which is taken as 0.07. Now what he has asked in the problem is, the width of the road here is 7.5 meter. Okay, he is asking what is this rise. He is asking what is this value. What is H? If I take this as theta, I told you already, E is equal to, cant is equal to, tan theta is equal to, we can write it as H by B. So here if we consider this as B, so you can write E is equal to 0.07 into H upon B is 7.5. If you solve this here, H is equal to 5.25 meter. What is the value of H? H value is equal to what, sir? 5.25 meter. Clear? Very good, Srujana. Very good. Here, Srujana, you get 0.087. But in case of plain terrain, it cannot be more than 7 percentile. So that is the reason I have taken E value as 0.07. And on solving, E is equal to tan theta is equal to H upon B, where it can be written as H is equal to 5.25 meter. So let me clarify you students here. What is super elevation means? It is the rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner. So E can be written as H upon B. In design super elevation, see students, E is taken as V square upon 225R, where the coefficient of friction will be 0, and we have considered the mixed design traffic, and we have taken 75% of the design speed. So here H is equal to how much we got? Oh, sorry. Sorry, sir. Here H value will be equal to 0.525, right? Thank you, Swetanshu. Thank you. H, because it is 7 by 100, right? Okay, it will be equal to 0.525 meter. Very good, Swetanshu and Sai. Okay. Now please read this question, students. I'll give you the timer. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Please solve that. time. Let me read the question here. The question here is the radius of a horizontal circular curve of radius is how much, sir? Of radius 120 meter. The design speed is 60 km per hour and the design coefficient of lateral coefficient is tire and road surface is 0.15. The estimated value of the super elevation if full lateral friction is to develop and the value of coefficient friction needed if no super elevation is provided. So see students, first they have asked you what? The estimated value of the super elevation. So when they ask you the estimated value of super elevation, you have here E plus F is equal to what, sir? V square upon GR. Okay. And here see students, the curve has a radius is how much, sir? Radius is equal to 120 meter. Velocity is equal to how much, sir? 60 km per hour. Velocity is given as how much, students? Velocity is 60 km per hour. So if I consider 60 km per hour, it will be taken as 60 into 5 by 18. What is this value? It will be taken as 16 into 5 by 18 is the velocity. After finding the velocity, you have friction is equal to how much, sir? Friction is equal to 0.15. What is the value of friction? You got 0.15. Now see, because see, by applying here, E plus 0.15 is equal to 60 into 5 by 18 whole square upon 9.81 into radius is 120. What is the value of E you got? Can anyone tell me, sir? Sir, there is a small thing here. What is the value of E you have calculated? What is the value of E you have calculated? How much you got, students? Let me know. What is the value of E, students? Very good. So, Swetanshu, here you got a value of 0.086. So, why I am asking is everyone see, students, but they have not given, they have given super elevation is 1:1 something, right? Sir, see, here you got E value is equal to 0.086. Suppose this value, if you want to find out in 1:x, they are asking 1:n, suppose. Just divide the value 1 divided by 0.86. This will be equal to your n. Can anyone tell me what is 1 divided by 0.86? What, sir? Swetanshu, that is okay. Swetanshu, here they are not asking the restricted value. They are not asking the restricted value. Here they are asking directly. They know that it can be more than 7. So what you can write 1 divided by 0. See, the logic here is everyone knows the super elevation is 0.086. But how to make it 1:n is, you have to write 1:n and n can be divided as 1 divided by 0.086. What is 1 divided by 0.086? Can anyone tell me? What is the value, Swetanshu or Sai? If you solve this, you will get n value roughly around 11.6. Yes or no? So that is the reason here super elevation can be written as 1:11.6. Swetanshu, they know the super elevation can be greater than. See, here we are not designing anything. By taking the value of coefficient of friction as maximum, that is 0.15, you have to calculate the E value. They are not asking whether it is more than 7 or not. Very good. So it will be equal to, sir, this will be equal to 11.6, not Sai. Sai, it is 0.086. If it is 0.86, it will be 1.6. Very good, Sai. Now see, students, the next one what he has asked in the second, there is another option also. If the super elevation is equal to 0, what will be the coefficient of friction? So here see, students, you know already E plus F is equal to what, sir? You know already E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. You know already Swetanshu, let me tell you, sir, see, Swetanshu, you are asking 0.07, right? 0.07 is percentile. Okay, if you talk about 1 is to 0.07 percentile, here you will write 0.0, sorry, 7 is the percentile. 1 second. Swetanshu, 7 is the percentile, and you will get a value of 1 is to, sorry, in numbers it will be 0.07. But if you talk in the fractions, here you will get a higher value. In this case, you will get around 14.2 or something, 1 divided by 14.2. This is different. Actually, Swetanshu, see, gradient can be written as 1 is to n. You are confusing, I think. Gradient will be written as 1 is to n. Here, whatever we are telling 7 percentile is directly E. That is not 1 is to n. 1 is to n representation is different and gradient is different, Swetanshu. Okay. So, why we are not writing 7% by 1 divided by 0.7 is, that is absolutely wrong. You will get 7% can be written as, I told you just now, 7 percentile can be written as what, sir? 7 percentile can be written as 1 by 14, not 7. Because this will be equal to somewhere around 0.07 or 1 by 13 point something. Are you clear, Swetanshu? Did I answer your question? Sir, did I answer your question? Swetanshu, please understand gradient or a slope can be written as 1 is to x or tan theta or in percentile. Okay, if you are not still clear, I'll explain you in the latter part. Okay. Now here what I would like to tell you is, if the super elevation is 0, here I have to take coefficient of friction. F is equal to what, sir? V square upon GR. What is V square here? Here V square is nothing but velocity is how much, sir? What is the velocity they have given in the problem? They have given as 60 km per hour. So 60 into 5 by 18 whole square upon GR. What is radius, sir? Radius is given as how much? 120 meter. So 9.81 into radius is 120. If you solve this, you will get a value of 0.24. Clear, sir? See here, what I would like to tell you here is, one is we are calculating the super elevation value and other one we are calculating the coefficient of the friction. Coefficient of friction is 0.24 and the super elevation value is be equal to 1 is to 11.6. Okay. Now see, read this question, students. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Read this question. Very good answer, Sweta. Very good answer, Sai. Okay, here see, Sai, there was a question and Swetanshu was, sir, see, we have a question on extra widening. Sir, see, Usually in the case of curves, what sir? Usually in case of curves, extra widening will be provided. Okay. Extra widening will be provided. Now let me tell you, see students, when I talk about extra widening, in case of curves, what sir? Extra widening will be provided. When I talk about extra widening here, extra widening can be written as mechanical widening plus psychological widening. What is mechanical widening? What is extra widening? Extra widening can be written as mechanical widening plus psychological widening. Now see students, here if I talk about extra widening, here extra widening is given as the formula n into L square upon 2R plus V upon 9.5 root R. Okay. See students, here this portion whatever we have the L square, okay, L square by 2R is nothing but off tracking. Sir, what do you mean by off tracking? Means the deviation in the path in the travel of front wheel and rear wheel. Okay, the deviation in the rear wheel and the front wheel, the deviation in the path in the front and rear wheels is called is nothing but off tracking, and it is equal to L square by 2R. And here mechanical widening will be taken as NL square by 2R. Okay. Here N is nothing but number of lanes. What is N, sir? N is nothing but the number of lanes. Okay. L is nothing but the length of wheelbase. What is L, sir? L is nothing but the length of wheelbase. And remember, see students, psychological widening is given by the formula V upon 9.5 root R. Here V is given in kilometer per hour. V is given in what, sir? Kilometer per hour. So here see students, very good. Swetanshu, I will check that answers, okay, don't worry. So extra widening it can be written as NL square upon 2R plus V upon 9.5 root R, okay. This is the formula. Here V is nothing but kilometer per hour. So you can write this is the formula for extra widening. So see students, here let me tell you, if the radius is less than 50 meter, see students, if the radius is less than 50 meter, suppose if I have considered this as a curve, okay, if I consider this as a curve, usually the extra widening will be provided on inner side. What, sir? If the radius is less than 50 meter, extra widening will be provided. Extra widening will be provided on the inner side. Okay. Suppose, see students, if the radius is greater than 50 meter, very good Swetanshu, if the radius is greater than 50 meter, okay, if the radius is greater than 50 meter, okay, here the extra widening is provided on both sides. Extra widening is provided on both sides. And remember, this is a very, very important point, students. If the radius is more than 300 meter, this is a very important point. If the radius is more than 300 meter, you should remember that no extra widening is required. If radius is more than 300 meter, what sir? You should say that no extra widening is required. This is a very important point. When radius is greater than 300 meter, you should say that there should not be, there is no need of providing any extra widening. So let us solve this problem, see students. First the question here is, a two-lane road, a two-lane one-way road with a radius of how much sir? 50 meter, okay. We have velocity 60 km per hour and 80 km per hour, okay. So see students, if I take mechanical widening of 60 km per hour, so what is the formula we have? We have is equal to NL square upon 2R, mechanical widening is equal to. So here number of lanes, what is the number of lanes? It is a two-lane road. So it's a two-lane road, see students, it is a two-lane road. So here you can write it as 2 into radius is how much sir? 50 meter. So 2 into 50. Here see students, what will be the length sir? Predominantly carries a wheelbase of how much it is? 50 meter, right? Wheelbase carries a how much sir? So Swetanshu will check the answers. So it will be equal to 5 square. So this will be equal to how much sir? This will be equal to 0.50. Okay. Now see students, let me tell you one important thing. You have to know this also concept. Here mechanical widening for 80 km per hour will be also 0.50. 80 km per hour also it is 0.50. Why? Because mechanical widening is independent of the velocity. It depends upon the number of lanes. Are you getting my dear students? So this is, you can directly say that for 80 also, because you can say it is independent of, you can write independent of, it is independent of velocity. As it is independent of the velocity, you can write this, okay? Okay, you can write. Next, the next one we have is what sir? The next one we have is the psychological widening. Now in case of psychological widening, what is the formula for 60 km per hour? This will be equal to, what is the formula we have? V divided by 9.5 root R. Okay, this is the psychological widening. So here see students, what do you mean by, when I talk about psychological widening, what is the velocity there sir? What is the velocity there? It is 80 km per hour. 80 divided by 9.5 into root R is how much sir? 50. So what is this value? Can anyone tell me? What is this value? See students, what is this value? This value will be equal to 0.89. Am I correct or wrong? 0.89? 8. Sorry, this value will be equal to 1.19 I think. This will be equal to, because 80 divided by 7, 10 divided by, so it will be 1.19, right? Similarly, sorry, it is, I have taken for 80 sir. So you write down here psychological widening for 80. If I have taken 80 value, then it is 1.19. Similarly, see students, if I have taken the psychological widening here, it is 60. So in case of 60, it is equal to V upon 9.5 root R. So here you can write it as 60 divided by 9.5 into root R. What is the radius sir? What is the value of radius? Yeah, Svetansh, here I have taken 80. So I have changed. For 80 it is 1.19. Because we have to calculate for everything, right? For 60, it will be equal to 0.89. So the option is 0.5, 0.89, 0.5 and 1.89. So option B is the correct answer. Yes or no? So see students, let me tell you, very good Swetanshu. See here, what I would like to tell you here is, when I talk about the important thing is, in extra widening, we have two terms. One is the mechanical widening and psychological widening. Mechanical widening depends upon the number of lanes. L square by 2R is called off tracking, and this is nothing but the deviation in the path, or it is the length traced by the deviation in the length traced by front and rear wheels. And we have psychological widening is V upon 9.5 root R, and the psychological widening depends upon the velocity. These are the key points in this problem. Now, let us go through this question. Please go through this question, students. Very good, Swetanshu. Very good, very good. Sir, see, actually, before solving this problem, let me tell you what is a transition curve. Okay. Sir, see, usually transition curve, the ideal very good Swetanshu, I told you it's correct. The ideal transition curve is nothing but the spiral transition curve. Okay. So, if you talk about the transition curve, sir, okay, if you talk about the transition curve, we have three formulas. L is equal to V cube upon CR. Okay. Here, this is the formula for transition curve based on rate of change of acceleration. And remember, see students, rate of change of acceleration is also known as jerk. This is based on rate of change of acceleration. Based on rate of change of acceleration, which is also called as what, sir? Which is also called as jerk. Okay. Now here, what do you mean by C is the constant, which is the rate of change of acceleration, which we call jerk. It is given by the formula C is equal to 80 upon 75 plus V. Here V is in kilometer per hour. And remember, see students, when I represent V in capital, then it indicates kilometer per hour. If I represent V in small, here the velocity is in meter per second. Similarly, see students, let us consider length L is equal to En into W plus We if it is rotated about outer edge. The length of the transition curve E is equal to L is equal to En by outer edge. L is equal to En by 2 into W plus We if it is rotated about central line. If it is rotated about the central line, then En by 2 into W plus We. Now see students, what is N is? N is the rate of change of super elevation. N is nothing but rate of change of super elevation. N is nothing but the rate of change of super elevation. And remember, see students, here what I would like to tell you here is the N value is equal to 60. N value is equal to 60 in case of planes. N value is equal to 60 in case of planes. N is equal to 150 in case of hills and all. Okay. Now see students, we have the empirical formula also. Okay. We have the empirical formula also. For planes, L is equal to 2.7 into capital V square per R. This is for planes. If I talk about mountains, L is equal to V square by R. So see students, we have formulas for length of the transition curve. First one is based on rate of change of super elevation, which is equal to L is equal to V cube by CR, and based on the rate of change of super elevation, L is equal to En by into W plus We, and L is equal to En by 2 into W plus We, or L is equal to 2.7. Out of these three formulas, we have to calculate every out of these three, and we have to calculate the length of the transition curve, whichever is maximum. The whatever the maximum value, that will be considered as the length of the transition curve. Now let me see, but what is the minimum length of the transition curve they have asked. But they are asking what is the minimum length of transition curve. They have given allowable jerk. Allowable jerk is given as how much, sir? Jerk means what I told you? C. C is nothing but, jerk is nothing but what I told you students. Jerk is nothing but the rate of change of acceleration. What is jerk? Jerk is nothing but the rate of change of acceleration is nothing but jerk. So here C is equal to how much, sir? C is equal to 0.75. And here we have radius is equal to how much, sir? Radius is nothing but 300 meter. Radius is nothing but what, sir? 300 meter. Okay, now see the length of the transition curve. Now the length of transition curve L is equal to V cube by C into R. So here what is C? V cube 15 cube upon C into is 0.75 into radius is 300. Okay. So you can write here 15 into 15 into 15 divided by 0.75 into 300. So you can cancel this. This will be equal to 20 and 15, 20, 15, 20, 300 cancel. So the answer here will be equal to 15 meter. Now you can ask me, sir, why you have done only one case? Sir, in the problem they asked you, only in case of comfort, means only in the case of the jerk we have to calculate. So only in the case of jerk it will be equal to 15 meter. Okay. Is this clear, students? Now please read this question. We have another beautiful question here for a portion. Okay. Just read this question, students. See, here we have a beautiful question. The question here is for a portion of national highway where a descending gradient of 1 by 25 meets with an ascending gradient of 1 in 20. So see students, when I told you here already clearly, whenever there is a descending gradient, okay, here what is the descending gradient value? The descending gradient value is given as how much, sir? The descending gradient value is given as 1 in 25. So if I write here 1 by 25, this will be equal to 0.04, or simply you can write it as 4%, and it will be negative. Okay. Similarly, in the problem they have given ascending gradient. Gradient is which is 1 by 20, which is equal to 0.05, which is equal to 5%. Am I correct or wrong, students? Now, if I solve this problem, n is equal to what, sir? N is nothing but the difference between the gradients. So, as it is a descending gradient, it will be negative. So, can I write minus G1 by minus G2? So, minus 4 percentile minus 5 percentile, that will be equal to minus 9 percentile, which is equal to 0.09. Okay. Now, see students, what they have asked is, headlight side distance is equal to the stopping side distance, considering length of the curve as SSD. They are telling headlight distance is equal to the stopping side distance. Now, see students, here they have given a valley curve. Vehicle is moving at a speed of how much, sir? Vehicle is moving at a, here what is the length of the valley curve based on the headlight condition, and what is the length of the valley curve based on comfort condition. One is what, sir? What is the length of the valley curve they are asking. Okay. When they ask you what is the length of the valley curve, can anyone tell me? The length of valley curve is given by the formula. The length of the valley curve is given by the formula. Can anyone tell me, sir? Okay. It is given by the formula when L is greater than SSD. First we will calculate SSD, that is a different thing. When L is greater than SSD, ns square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. But here, okay, they have given the values also. Here they have given the headlight value is 0.75 and beam angle is 1.51 degree. Okay. Now see students, this formula can be simplified as the 1.5 plus 0.035 s, where s indicates the stopping side distance. So this is the length of the valley curve. Okay. Now first of all we should calculate the SSD. How do you calculate SSD? SSD is equal to Vt plus V square upon 2gf. Here see students, velocity is given as 90 km per hour. Okay. So if I convert into velocity small v, 90 into 5 by 18. So this will be equal to 25 meter per second. Yes or no? See students, is this clear, sir? Now when I talk about SSD, SSD is equal to 25 velocity and reaction time is given as 2.5 plus 25 square upon V square upon 2gf, 2 into 9.81. F is might be given as, what is the coefficient of friction? We will see, sir. Sir, see, the coefficient of friction is 0.35 and the reaction time is 2.5 seconds, and we have here the headlight of the vehicle is at a height of 0.7 meter and the beam angle is 1 degree. Yes or no? Here alpha, what is beam angle means? Alpha is given as 1 degree and small h headlight distance, headlight it is height of 0.75 meter. Now see students, here we have taken 0.35. Okay, so what will be the stopping side distance? After calculating this value, can anyone tell me what is the stopping side distance, sir? What is the stopping side distance? See here, if you calculate, you will get a value of 153.51 meter. So 25 into 2.5, it will be around 62.5, 625, 30, 31 divided by 63. Yeah. How much you got, sir, roughly? What is the value you got? 25 into 2, 62.5 plus 625, it is 31. Yeah, it will be 153.51 meter. Now see students, now let us calculate the length of the valley curve. If I calculate here, what is the length? We got S is equal to what, sir? 153.51. Now the length of valley curve is given by what, sir? Length of valley curve is equal to, formula is ns square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. Okay, if you solve this, you will get n is equal to how much we got? 0.09, which I have calculated. Stopping, what is S, sir? S is nothing but stopping side distance, which is equal to, very good Swetanshu, it is 153.51 whole square plus 1.5 plus 0.035 into S is how much, sir? 153.51. Now tell me what is the answer you got, sir. Now tell me what is the answer you got. You will get a value of L is equal to 308.60 meter. See students, after solving, you will get length of the valley curve is how much, sir? 308.6. Here I will tell you one important thing, students. Here length, whatever you have calculated, is greater than SSD. So our assumption is correct. If suppose your assumption is wrong, then if L is less than SSD, then the formula will change. Okay, the formula will be 2s minus 2h plus 2s tan alpha upon n. Are you following, students? Here the first we have assumed that L is greater than SSD. We have calculated the stopping side distance and we have calculated the length of the valley curve as 2ns square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. Based on this, we have calculated the length of the valley curve and we have got the answer as length of the valley curve is more than the length of the valley curve is more than SSD. So our assumption is correct. Clear? Swetanshu, have you got this answer, sir? 308.60. Can you please respond quickly? Swetanshu or Sai or Kushbu Patel or Ayush Sagar. Can you let me know? Next, very good. Next one we have in this same question, what they have asked you, see students, the length of the valley curve based on comfort condition. The length of the valley curve based on comfort condition. See students, the length of valley curve, this is another important formula. The length of valley curve, the length of valley curve based on, the length of the valley curve based on, the length of the valley curve based on comfort condition. The length of the valley curve based on comfort condition is given by the formula. See students, here it is given by the formula 2 root NV cube by C, or you can write it as 2 root into, you can write 2 into NV cube by C power half. Here see student, anyhow the rate of change of acceleration is given and the problem. See student, the rate of change, see here, you can write 2 into the n value is given as 0.09, which we have calculated. Sir, what is capital N means? It is the algebraic difference between the grades. What, sir, capital N? Capital N is nothing but the algebraic, capital N is nothing but the algebraic difference in grades. Capital N is the algebraic difference in capital N is what, sir? Capital N is the algebraic difference in grades. So here V is equal to what, sir? V is equal to, what is the value of V? V is nothing but, we got 25, right? So velocity is equal to 25 cube whole power cube by C is 0.5 whole power half. So what is the value you got, students, on solving this? Please let me know what is the value you got. 0.09 into 25 cube divided by 0.5. What is the value you got, students? So see students, roughly you will get a value of 106 meter. So please remember here, students, see, let me tell you, okay, you will get a value of 106 meter. Now see students, the length of valley curve, the length of valley curve, the length of valley curve, these points please remember, okay, the length of the valley curve, when L is greater than SSD, the formula is given as ns square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. And remember what is h means, height of the headlight for the vehicle, and alpha is the beam angle. This can also be written as ns square upon 1.5 plus 0.035 s. Suppose, see students, what I would like to tell you here is, if L is less than SSD, if L is less than SSD, okay, here length of the valley curve is given as 2s minus 2, okay, 2s minus 1.5 upon 0.035 s upon n. Sir, every time we know, we cannot know directly, we have to calculate the length of the valley curve before assuming greater than SSD. If you get a greater than SSD, your assumption is correct. If you get a lesser value, then definitely you have to do with the second approach. Very good, Srujana. Very good, Sai Srujana. Very good, sir. Now please solve this question, Amma. Next we will move on to the next question we have is, next please. see the question here, an ascending gradient of 1 in 45 minutes, 1 in 65. Designed for a design speed of 80 km per hour to a period of safe overtaking side distance of 230. Estimate the length of the summit curve. Okay. Now see students, let me tell you the important concept here. Now see, when I talk about the summit curve, okay, a summit curve is nothing but something like this. A summit curve will look like this, sir. If we have two tangents drawn, here we have something like this. Means a positive gradient meets a negative gradient, then we can come up with a summit curve. There can be other chances also for forming a summit curve. Now see students, suppose here when L is greater than SSD, the length of summit curve L is given as NS square upon root 2h plus root 2h small h whole square, which on solving, what is capital H is the height of the driver, small h is the height of the object, students. So here the length of the summit curve is given as NS square upon 4.4. What is, sir? Here L is given as NS square upon 4.4. For suppose if L is less than SSD, if the length of the curve is less than SSD, okay, length of the transition curve L is given as 2s minus, okay, 2s minus 4.4 upon n. So these are the formulas for length of the summit curve, taking the stopping side distance into account. This is very important. This is the length of the considered curve, taking SSD into consideration. Next one, what I would like to tell you here is the length of the summit curve. The length of summit curve based on the length of the summit curve based on what, sir? Based on OSD. Based on OSD. If you see, what is the summit curve formula, sir? L is equal to here given as NS square upon 8H, okay, which when L is greater than OSD or overtaking side distance, or you can write it as NS square upon 9.6, where capital H is the height of the driver, okay. And remember, see students, the length of the summit, the length of summit curve in case of OSD can be written as 2s minus 9.6 by n. And remember, see students, what is n, sir? N is nothing but the algebraic difference between the grades. Algebraic difference in n is nothing but the algebraic difference in grades. Okay. So let me tell you, see students, here let me tell you one important thing. So here we have a question that an ascending gradient, and remember, see students, ascending gradient will be always greater than the, ascending gradient will be always taken as a positive gradient, meets a descending gradient of 1 in 60. Velocity is 80 km per hour. Now see students, what they have given in the question, they have given 1 in 45 meets 1 in 60. So what is n here, sir? N is defined as the algebraic difference in grades. N is nothing but the algebraic difference in grades. So already I told you, ascending gradient will be positive. Okay, ascending gradient will be positive, which is 1 in 45. So n is equal to what, sir? 1 by 45 minus 1 by 60. Can anyone tell me what is this value on solving? Have you got this value or not, sir? Can you check this value? See students, the algebraic difference between the grades is given as 1 by 45 minus 1 by 60. Have you got this value? 0.0388. Have you got this value, Amma? Okay. Now see students, here they have given you the overtaking side distance. Okay. Here they have given you overtaking side distance as 230 meter. Okay. Overtaking side distance as 230 meter and velocity is how much, sir? Now, how do you consider L is equal to greater than OSD? I'll assume L is greater than OSD and I will calculate that. So, here L is equal to NS square upon 8H, or you will get L is equal to NS square upon 9.6. Here what does S indicates? S indicates nothing but the OSD. Okay, here we have N is equal to how much, sir? N is equal to 0.038, and here we have the overtaking side distance. What is the value of overtaking side distance? It is equal to how much, sir? It is equal to 230. So 230 whole square divided by 8 into H is 9.6. So here 0.038 into 230 square divided by 9.6. What is the value, sir? 0.038 into 230 square divided by 9.6. What is the value you got? How much is the value you got, students? See students, if you solve this, you will get a value of 214.24 meter. Okay, sir, how much you are getting? 214.24 meter or 209.4 or whatever, sir. Sir, this value is less than OSD. Sir, this value is less than OSD. So, our assumption is wrong. So, our assumption is wrong. So, our assumption is wrong. So, what we have to do here? So, we have to do L is equal to what, sir? L is equal to 2S minus 8H by N. So, what is 2S? 2 into 230 minus 9.6 divided by 0.038. So, what is this value, sir? Can anyone tell me? What is this value? What is this value? See students, what is this value? We have L is equal to 2S minus 8H by N. What is this value? 2 into 230 divided by 9.6 upon 0.0388. You will get a value of 213.086 meter. You will get a value of how much, sir? 213.086 meter. So, here let me tell you, here L is less than OSD. So, your assumption is correct. So, your assumption is correct. L is less than, but no need to write, sir. If other option is not correct, definitely it should say. So, the final answer L will be equal to 213.086 meter. So, the length of the summit curve in case of OSD is L is equal to 213.086 meter. Is this clear, sir? Okay, you got how much, sir? 207.36. See, Sweta, Sai, if you take 0.038 only, you will get. I think you are taking 0.388. That is the reason. Okay, if you got 207 also, it will be in that range only. Okay, sir? It will be in that range only. Okay, not an issue. Now, please solve this problem. Please solve that problem. Now let us see this question, students. A parabolic curve is to connect a upgrade of downward gradient as shown in the, connect a 4% upward gradient with 2% downward gradient. The highest point on the summit curve at a distance from the first tangent point, okay. Now see student, if they ask you what is the formula, how to calculate the location of the tangent point, location of summit point. Sir, see, location of this summit point is nothing but, how do you calculate, sir? Can anyone tell me? Very good, Swetanshu. Here, location of the summit point is nothing but, if it is from here, if I take this one as N1 and this one as N2, as it is from right side, it will be N1 into L upon N. Okay? N1 into L upon N. So here one is what, sir? Location of, sir. N is the 4 percentile given and N is the algebraic difference between the grades. N1 minus N2, right? N1 is how much, sir? It is positive. So it will be 4 minus of minus 2. So this will be equal to 6. So the location of the summit point can be taken as, here we have N1 is how much, sir? 4 percentile. So 4 percentile into the capital N value is how much? It is 6 percentile. 4 into 6 percentile. And what is the length here? Length is taken as 150. So 4 by 6 into 150. So it will be equal to 100 meter. Sir, you should be very careful here. Sir, if it is from this side, it is 100 meter. If it is from this side, it will be equal to 50 meter. So if they ask you from the other end, you have to take N to L by N. If they ask you which side, from which point they are asking, the location of summit point is very important. Okay, the formula for location of summit point, if I take it as x is equal to N1 upon L upon capital N. This is the location of the summit point. Clear, students? Any doubts in this, sir? Okay. Now please solve this problem. This was a GATE 2023 question, students. So please solve this problem. Here, what is the answer here we have is, according to Indian Congress, extra widening depends upon. That is the reason it is a GATE 23 question. Here, extra widening is equal to what, sir? Is NL square by 2R plus V by 9.5 root R. So this is the formula. It depends upon horizontal radius. Yes, absolutely correct. Super elevation E, no. Number of lanes, yes, correct. Gradient, no. So the option A and C are correct. By knowing the formula, if you know this formula, students, you can easily solve the problem. Yes or no? So here you can say, 1 second, students, let me write you clearly. Here extra widening is equal to NL square upon 2R plus V divided by 9.5 root R. Okay. Here you can write option A and C are, here you can write option A and C are correct. And here C, mechanical widening is equal to NL square by 2R, where N represents number of lanes, okay, and R represents the radius, okay. So using these content, you can know this. Clear, students? So the options A and C are absolutely correct. Now, C students, please C students, if you are liking this session, at least share this session to all your friends. Now I am going to discuss the formula sheet for geometric design. Quickly we will move on to the formula sheet, sir. If you talk about geometric design concepts, okay, we will discuss the formula sheet for this topic, geometric design. Okay, now see students, sir, in highway geometric design, formulas plays a very important role. So here SSD is equal to what, sir? SSD is equal to VT plus V square upon 2G F into efficiency plus or minus N. Now see, here T is nothing but reaction time, which is equal to 2.5 seconds. Okay. F is equal to A by G. Okay. And maximum value of coefficient of longitudinal friction usually will be equal, sir, 0.40, which is not required. N is gradient positive in case of ascending and negative in case of descending. Okay. And we have efficiency is equal to what, sir? Efficiency is equal to F actual upon maximum coefficient of friction into 100. And remember, see students, here let me tell you another important case is, sir, lag distance is equal to V into T, and braking distance is equal to what, sir? Is equal to V square upon 2G into F into N upon plus or minus N. So this is the formula for braking distance. Clear, students? Now if I talk about OSD, OSD means, see students, if OSD is not given, if OSD is not provided, I will be somewhat fast because it's a formula sheet, everyone should be aware of that. ISD will be equal to 2 times the OSD. And OSD, sorry, 2 times SSD. Sir, see, OSD for two-way traffic is equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3. Okay, OSD for one-way traffic will be equal to D1 plus D2. Okay, now see students, here what do you mean by D1? D1 is equal to V into T, sorry, VB into T. Here T will be in OSD 2 seconds, D2 will be equal to VB into capital T plus 2S, and D3 is equal to V into capital T. Okay, here VB is equal to V minus 4.5 meter per second, T is equal to root 4S by A, S is equal to 0.7 VB plus L, L is equal to 6.1 meter, which is the length of the wheelbase. Okay. Now see students, minimum length of overtaking, sir, D2 is also known as length of overtaking or distance in overtaking zone. Okay. Minimum length of OSD is, minimum length of overtaking zone is 3 times OSD. Desirable is 5 times OSD. So these are the formulas related to the OSD, overtaking side distance. Very good. Now next one we have is super elevation. E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. Centrifugal ratio P by W is equal to B by 2H is equal to V square by GR. Okay. Next, in case of mixed traffic, E is equal to V square upon 225R. Okay. So you can say maximum value of plane is 0.07 and F max is equal to 0.15. Similarly, C students, when I talk about extra widening is, it is equal to mechanical widening plus psychological widening. That is equal to how much, sir? NL square by 2R plus V by 9.5R. So this is the formula for extra widening. Agree students? See, when radius is more than 300 meter, no extra widening is required. Okay. Now see students, next one we have is the length of transition curve. L is equal to V cube by CR. L is equal to En by 2 if it is rotated about center line. Sir, I might be fast, but here you should go all these things. E into W plus WE, and L is equal to 2.7 V square by R or V square by R. This is for mountains and okay, whichever is the maximum you can take. And remember, if they ask you what is the shift of the transition curve, the shift of transition curve is LS square upon 24R. Okay, and C students, let me tell you, if they ask you straight line camber, this is also straight line camber is Wn by 2n, the generalized equation. Camber is nothing but slope, sir. Okay, every time in super elevation also you have to check for minimum super elevation, that is camber value. Next one we have is length of summit curve. Okay, that is equal to NS square upon root 2H plus root 2H whole square for L greater than SSD. Okay, when L is less than SSD, the length of summit curve, the length of the summit curve is given as 2s minus root 2h plus root 2 small h whole square upon n. Okay, these are the values for summit curve, sir. Okay, if you talk about summit curve, okay, in case of SSD. Okay, in case of valley curves, length of valley curve is given as NS square upon 2H plus 2S tan alpha when L is greater than SSD. When L is less than SSD, you have 2S minus 2H plus 2S tan alpha upon n. And the location of the summit point, X is given as N1 by L, where N1 indicates the which direction. It can be N2 by L also. Based on the location, you have to do this. Okay. So students, whenever you are solving geometric design, the important things what I would like to tell you is, you have to write the formula sheet. You should able to understand each and every term. What is V, what is length of wheelbase, what is summit curve, what is valley curve, what is extra widening, what is super elevation, what is the length of transition curve, it is rotated about inner edge, what is OSD, what is SSD, what is perception, what is the reaction time. So every terms and formulas, if you are aware, you are almost done with the 80%. Now, the key points for geometric design is the formula sheet. Please prepare all the formula sheet. And the second thing is practice the problems based on the formula. And see students, if you want to access our all the notes, is it's my sincere request for the students who are already done with the gate preparation and they want to test yourself and they want to revise your concepts, and if you want to have the most important updates in YouTube channel, then visit our Telegram group channel, and the link is provided in the description. Please click on the link and join. And if you are looking for the seriously for the notes which you want to look for today's session, the notes will be also available in the Telegram group. And next thing what I would like to tell you here is, students, what we at IMS Gate Academy provide. IMS Gate Academy has a wonderful, IMS provides the offline gate coaching as well as the online gate coaching. Offline gate coaching we have at Jayanagar office, and also at Vijayawada we have at Ban Circle. And apart from this, see students, we are providing 750 plus hours of gate coaching for civil engineering. And remember, the flow of subjects will be engineering, maths and aptitude after the basic concepts like strength of materials, fluid mechanics. Then we will follow the structural part, geotechnical and environment. And coming to the most important thing, students, in IMS Gate Academy, the content, the material which you are having is one of the good thing. Why? Because we provide the chapter test, we provide chapter book, exercise book and subject material for every book, for every subject. So this will help you to practice the problems of level 1, level 2, level 3. Apart from this, if you are looking for all the previous year gate questions, we have an excellent study material called Gate Question Booklet with all the 30-year questions and with the key pointers for that. And remember, students, IMS Gate Academy, with pride we are saying that the student success mainly depends upon the two important things in offline as well as online, that is one-to-one mentorship. Here the faculty will understand the weakness of the student and how that weakness can be converted into strength. Here in one-to-one mentorship, they can understand, the student can individually connect to the faculty, respective faculty. If he is weak in geotechnical or if he is weak in transportation, he cannot connect. If he is weak in environment. So based on the subject and based on his strength and based on his weakness, we will try to assess the student, and this will be done throughout his roadmap for the entire year. Apart from this, if you are really facing with any challenges when you are solving the exercise book or anything, we have a doubt solving portal, and that doubt can be solved within the 24 hours of time. In addition to this, we are providing the library facility at the Jayanagar office, where the students can attend the classroom course and they can interact with the faculties in the live and clarify their doubts. So this is all about our this is all about the IMS features which we are offering at IMS Gate Academy. And students, if you are sincerely looking for the gate preparation, then it is if you are looking for gate preparation for gate 25, then you should start preparing now, because if you want to achieve the best ranks, the gate preparation should be around 12 to 14 months. So it is the right times to start. And remember, my dear students, gate can be written by the third year student, final year student and the passed out student. I hope this session will help you regarding the solutions of geometric design, and I hope more and more, and I am very happy to tell you that we will be conducting more and more sessions for the to make your gate journey a successful journey. Thank you.